The story begins in Seoul, where Dr. Yeon-soo conducts unorthodox experiments in his lab, desperately trying to save his daughter, whose life is hanging by a thread. The lab is filled with animals used in his research, roaming freely. In a moment of desperation, Dr. Yeon-soo turns on his own assistant, killing him to ease his escalating frustration. However, the Korean police soon arrive, arresting him for the deaths of over 100 people. In a frantic attempt to prove his innocence, Dr. Yeon-soo injects himself with one of his experimental serums. Just then, a police officer shoots him, and suddenly a massive earthquake strikes, shaking the entire city violently. Buildings begin to tremble and collapse one by one, turning to rubble in minutes. The lab crumbles to dust as the horrified police officers flee for their lives. But Dr. Yeon-soo remains, unwilling to leave his daughter's side. In a matter of moments, the city is reduced to a barren wasteland. The once thriving metropolis is now nothing but a desolate stretch of land. Survivors have moved to small villages, struggling to find enough food and water to survive. Fresh water is especially scarce due to the lack of rainfall following the earthquake, and potable water has become a rare luxury. However, their troubles do not end there. Outside the villages lurk ruthless hunters, ready to kill for food and water. Only the bravest dare venture beyond the village borders in search of resources. 3 years after the earthquake, we follow Ji-won, a young hunter, as he ventures out into the wasteland. Hearing a strange noise, he quickly hides behind an abandoned car. Peering out, he spots a crocodile. With his bow drawn, Ji-won fires an arrow, and the creature collapses. Triumphant, he approaches his kill. But suddenly the crocodile springs back to life, chasing after him. Ji-won's arrows are not powerful enough to penetrate its thick skin. He scrambles for safety, diving into the car, but the crocodile thrusts its head through the window, snapping its jaws, trying to reach him. At that moment, Nam-san arrives, pulls the crocodile away, and swiftly kills it with his sword. He and Ji-won, who are good friends, return to the village carrying the crocodile. They trade its meat for other supplies. Suna, a girl from the village, stands in line to receive some of the crocodile meat. Ji-won tries to flirt with her, but she remains indifferent and walks away. Suddenly, a gang appears. One of the members steps forward, holding up a filthy, crude drawing, claiming they are searching for the person depicted. When no one recognizes the face, the gang decides they will take anyone who resembles the person in the picture. In panic, a man in the crowd grabs one of the gang members by the neck in a desperate attempt to defend himself. But another gangster swiftly severs his hand. One of the gang members then starts harassing Suna, but she ignores him. Frustrated, he pulls her by the hair and shoves her elderly grandmother, causing her to fall. Ji-won immediately steps in to defend them, and a fight breaks out. Ji-won initially manages to fend off a few attackers, but the gang soon overwhelms him, ganging up on him. Nam-san, seeing the situation and eager for action, steps in to help his friend. He swiftly takes down the gang members, defeating them with ease. Afterward, he interrogates one of the remaining gangsters, asking why they came to the village. The gangster reveals they work for a man named Tiger and that they were sent on his orders. Nam-san's expression darkens upon hearing the name, and he notices the gang has fresh drinking water. He demands to know where they obtained it, and the gangster explains they found it in a nearby apartment where the residents had purified the water and secured fresh food. When the other gang members realize they are facing Nam-san, they flee in fear, knowing his reputation. After a while, a group of people arrives at the village, appearing educated and professional. They claim to have come from the same apartment the gangsters mentioned earlier, the one with access to clean drinking water. These individuals say they are recruiting teenagers from distant places to provide them with a better education, emphasizing that children are the future. Suna decides to accept their offer and, as night falls, sets off with her grandmother to the apartment. While walking in the dark, Suna and the others spot another group ahead. Upon inquiry, they learn that this is another set of recruiters heading toward the same building. Suna quickly befriends a girl from this group named Juye. After walking for a long time, Suna's grandmother collapses, unable to continue. Similarly, another boy's father, exhausted, also falls. Seeing this, one of the recruiters offers to take the elderly woman and the man to a nearby medical facility for rest so they can rejoin the group the following day. Minutes later, the entire group reaches a vehicle waiting to transport them. Suna becomes suspicious, wondering why her grandmother and the boy's father were left behind when the car was so close. Sergeant Kwan, one of the recruiters, tries to reassure her. Meanwhile, we see Suna's grandmother and the old man being escorted by 2 officers to the edge of a deep trench created by the earthquake. The officers throw the man into the pit, and one of them stabs Suna's grandmother. Ji-won and Nam-san, who had been out hunting, witness the scene. The officers hear their presence and open fire. Nam-san quickly charges at the officers, taking them down. However, he notices that even after being fatally attacked, the officers stand up again and continue their assault. Ji-won draws one of the officers' attention and slams his head against the cement, but the officer refuses to die. Thinking fast, Ji-won lures one of the officers into an animal trap he had set earlier, but the officer escapes and resumes the chase. Just as the officer is about to strike Ji-won, a woman named Yoon-ho intervenes, saving him by slitting the officer's throat. Meanwhile, Nam-san is attacked by another officer, but Yoon-ho intervenes by throwing a knife, distracting the officer long enough for Nam-san to grab the knife and kill him. Afterward, Ji-won and Nam-san bury Suna's grandmother. Eun-ho then explains her story. She was once an Air Force soldier and is now heading to the same apartment building to rescue the people living there. She recounts how, after the earthquake, her team searched for survivors and came across a building that had remained untouched. They met the people living there, and parents expressed concerns about their children who had left with Dr. Yeon-soo and had yet to return. When Yoon-ho questioned her comrades about it, they turned against her. To prove their point, they shot a soldier. But even after being shot, the soldier stood back up. Dr. Yeon-soo claimed that his experiment was humanity's last hope. Enraged by his words, Eun-ho tried to attack him, but her comrades attacked her instead. She barely escaped with her life by jumping out of a window. After hearing her story, Ji-won and Nam-san agree to help Yoon-ho as they want to rescue Suna, who is with the recruiters at the apartment. However, they know they'll need a solid plan to bypass the security. In a nearby abandoned building, two gangs are hosting brutal fights, forcing people to battle to the death for the survival of their families. As the fights continue, the gang leader, Tiger, taunts the rival gang leader, asking if he has anything left to wager. Enraged, the rival gang erupts into violence, and a chaotic gang war breaks out. Members from both sides clash, killing one another without hesitation. Amid the chaos, Tiger remains untouchable, effortlessly dispatching anyone who comes near. As the fight drags on, nearly everyone is killed, leaving only a few survivors standing. Nam-san arrives at the scene with his companions and seeks Tiger's help. It's revealed that Nam-san and Tiger were once fierce boxing rivals, but during a match, Nam-san had beaten Tiger so severely that he was forced to quit boxing. Tiger, holding a grudge, seizes the opportunity to settle their score. The two face off, but before the fight begins, both gangs unite and attack Nam-san, Yoon-ho, and Ji-won. However, the criminals are no match for the combat skills and training of Nam-san and Yoon-ho. Ji-won also fights valiantly, managing to free the captured civilians amidst the chaos. Nam-san and Tiger engage in a brutal fight, but Nam-san defeats Tiger with just a few powerful punches. Witnessing this, the remaining gang members flee in terror. Nam-san, Yoon-ho, and Ji-won manage to capture a few gang members for interrogation. Nam-san questions them about the source of clean water. Tiger, before dying, reveals that he was responsible for sending civilians and children to the apartment building in exchange for clean water and food, but they were only allowed access during deliveries. Nam-san realizes he must carefully plan their next move with this information in mind. Meanwhile, Suna's group arrives at the apartment building. She is amazed by what she sees. The building has solar panels for electricity, a garden full of vegetables, and guards patrolling the premises. As they approach, the residents welcome them and lead them to the entrance. Dr. Yeon-soo steps out, introducing himself as the leader of the community. He offers clean water to everyone, and for the first time in years, they see potable water. Suna, thinking of her grandmother, chooses not to drink the water, wanting to save it for her instead. The children are each assigned new rooms, and Suna is surprised by the abundance of supplies. The rooms are stocked with clean clothes, fresh water, and everything they could possibly need. Overwhelmed, Suna asks her teacher about her grandmother, and the teacher reassures her that their team is already on the way to bring her to the building. Dr. Yeon-soo then makes an announcement declaring that the top 4 children with the best grades will receive the most luxurious rooms on the 8th floor. These children, along with their families, will receive free food passes and will not be required to do any work. The children and their families cheer at the news. However, when the parents speak privately with the teacher, they learn that for now, only the children will be allowed on the 8th floor. The parents, on the other hand, must stay in the basement to work, filtering and bottling water for their children. The parents are required to work long hours, and they are not permitted to visit their children during this time. Later, the teacher informs Dr. Yeon-soo that Suna and another child are suitable candidates for an experiment. Hearing this, Dr. Yeon-soo instructs the teacher to give them water to drink. The teacher then introduces Suna to the rest of the class. Suna immediately feels uneasy. She notices that each child has a small, strange incision behind their ears, and all of them are unusually quiet, almost expressionless. Her suspicions grow as she observes this eerie behavior. During the lesson, the teacher discusses the frailty of the human body, explaining that it must constantly adapt to survive. She emphasizes the importance of learning to live without water. The class gradually transforms into a propaganda session, where the children are told how Dr. Yeon-soo is a savior fighting fighting for humanity, their only hope for survival. When the class ends, all the children are given water, and the teacher insists that they must drink it. Suna, wary of the teacher's intentions, pretends to take a sip but secretly avoids drinking the water. Dr. Yonsu quickly enters the classroom and delivers a lecture to the children. During his speech, he selects one of Suna's friends to be his new assistant. When Suna asks about her grandmother's whereabouts, she is told that her grandmother's health has deteriorated and she is currently in the medical emergency ward. Suspicious but unable to do anything, Suna accepts the explanation for now. Later, Yonsu offers her some water, insisting she drink it. Sensing that something is wrong, Suna pretends to take a sip but secretly avoids drinking any of it. Meanwhile, Yonsu begins testing his latest serum, a concoction he calls the lettuce serum. On his assistant, KK suggests to Yonsu that they should keep a supply of serum injections for emergencies, ensuring everyone can be treated quickly. But Yonsu dismisses the idea, confident in his own methods. After K leaves, it becomes clear that Yonsu is still secretly working on ways to heal his daughter, using regenerative abilities found in reptiles. Later that night, Suna sneaks into Dr. Yonsu's lab to investigate. She goes through his notes and discovers that Yonsu has been experimenting for years, trying to replicate the regenerative properties of reptiles. To her horror, she learns that his early tests were performed on children, none of whom survived the process. As she continues to explore, she opens a door and finds her friend, the one Yonsu had chosen as his helper, lying on an operating table. Her friend has an incision behind her ear and is connected to several machines. Suna realizes that the girl has been made part of Yonsu's twisted experiment. Suddenly, Yonsu returns to the lab, forcing Suna to hide. As she conceals herself, the girl's parents, who had been searching for her, also enter the lab. They are horrified when they see their daughter's condition. They beg Yonsu to release their daughter from the machines, but Yonsu insists that everything he is doing is for her benefit and the greater good. Desperate, the parents start disconnecting the wires, despite Yonsu's protests. As the machines disconnect, the girl's condition rapidly deteriorates, and she dies in agony before their eyes. Enraged, Dr. Yonsu lashes out and kills the girl's father in a fit of fury. Her mother, terrified, tries to flee, but Yonsu's assistant, Kei, coldly shoots her from behind, silencing her escape. As they stand over the bodies, Kei and Yonsu spot Suna hiding. They drag her out and bring her to the center of the lab, deciding to make her the next subject of their experiments. Struggling and terrified, Suna is strapped to the table and connected to the machines, becoming their latest test subject. Dr. Yonsu explains to everyone that the water the teenagers have been drinking triggers the pituitary gland to release a special fluid, which acts as a serum essential for his experiments. He then activates the machines connected to Suna, causing her immense pain. Meanwhile, Nam-san arrives at the building in a truck with Tiger and his companions. Tiger claims to be delivering the children, but the guard grows suspicious, knowing it isn't the scheduled delivery time, and begins inspecting the truck. Sensing danger, Nam-san and his team speed away, crashing the truck further ahead. This triggers an alarm, and several soldiers converge on their location, launching an attack. Nam-san, Ji-won, and Yun-ho engage in combat against the guards while Tiger finds a hiding spot. During the battle, Yun-ho discovers that several of her former comrades are imprisoned nearby. She frees them, but to her horror, they are no longer human. They have been transformed into zombie-like creatures through Dr. Yonsu's experiments. The mutated soldiers turn on Yun-ho, attacking her. Nam-san and Ji-won arrive just in time to help her, and together they manage to fight off and kill the zombies. Dr. Yonsu, watching the battle unfold through security cameras, realizes that Nam-san, Ji-won, and Yun-ho have infiltrated the building. Speaking through the intercom system, he threatens them, offering them a chance to leave in exchange for their lives. The trio refuses, and Nam-san instructs Yun-ho and Ji-won to find Suna while he holds off the soldiers. Nam-san charges into battle, but when he runs out of bullets, he switches to using his sword, cutting down the remaining guards. He eventually makes his way to the basement, where the parents are being held captive. He frees them, urging them to search for their children. Meanwhile, Yun-ho and Ji-won push forward, eliminating soldiers as they go. Eventually, they come face to face with Kei, Dr. Yonsu's assistant. Kei, who has just taken the serum, is now incredibly strong and much more difficult to defeat. A fierce fight breaks out between him and Yun-ho. Despite his strength, Yun-ho manages to injure his eye and leg. Kei boasts that his body now contains lizard-like regenerative abilities, making it nearly impossible to kill him. He then attacks Yun-ho, throwing her off the platform, causing her to fall below. Meanwhile, Ji-won reaches the upper floor, where he finds a classroom. He quickly takes out the guard and confronts the teacher, holding her hostage while urging the children to escape. However, he is shocked to see that none of the children respond or move. Growing suspicious, Ji-won demands that the teacher tell him the location of the lab. After getting the information, he heads toward the lab, but Kei intercepts him, blocking his path. Just then, Nam-san arrives and tells Ji-won to go ahead while he stays behind to handle Kei. At the same time, Dr. Yeon-soo is seen extracting the serum from Suna's body, injecting it into himself. However, his health begins to deteriorate rapidly when he realizes that Suna never actually drank the water, meaning her body did not contain the potent serum he needed. Furious, he prepares to attack her, but Ji-won bursts in, dragging the teacher with him. A soldier sneaks up behind Ji-won, knocking him unconscious. Dr. Yeon-soo orders the teacher and the soldier to prepare his daughter's body for transport, placing it in a secure case, while he gathers the serum tubes for himself. Nam-san, having defeated Kei, enters the lab and grabs a guard's gun, shooting the teacher. As the teacher pleads for help, Dr. Yeon-soo coldly ignores him, choosing to flee instead. Before escaping, he throws a grenade into the room. Just before the grenade detonates, Ji-won manages to pull Suna off the stretcher, shielding them both from the blast. The explosion jolts Yoon-ho, who has been unconscious, and she slowly regains consciousness. Yoon-ho, still alive, regains her strength. As Dr. Yeon-soo attempts to flee, he is confronted by the parents and children he has been exploiting. They surround him, and in a moment of rage, they begin to beat him. However, his face starts to shift and transform, becoming grotesque and monstrous, causing everyone to recoil in fear. Taking advantage of their hesitation, Dr. Yeon-soo pulls out a gun and begins firing wildly in all directions, hitting several people in the crowd. In his frenzy, some of the bullets accidentally strike the briefcase holding his daughter's body, shattering the serum bottles and causing her to die. Realizing what he's done, Dr. Yeon-soo is consumed with grief and rage. At that moment, Nam-san, Ji-won, and Eun-ho arrive. Before Dr. Yeon-soo can turn his weapon on them, Nam-san fires his own gun, killing Yeon-soo and ending his twisted reign. As Dr. Yeon-soo falls, the sky begins to darken, and heavy clouds gather above. Suddenly, rain starts to pour. Clean, fresh rain. The first time such rain has fallen in years. The people look up in awe and relief, realizing they can finally drink pure water again. Eun-ho addresses the crowd, declaring that they will rebuild and create a new society together in this place. Meanwhile, Nam-san, Ji-won, and Suna decide to leave the compound. On their way back, they visit Suna's grandmother's grave. Suna kneels and cries for a long time, mourning the loss of the only family she had left. Nam-san and Ji-won stand by, offering silent support as she processes her grief. Afterward, they return to their village, resuming their lives as they were before. The story concludes with an important lesson: the destructive power of greed. Dr. Yeon-soo's obsession with defying nature and achieving immortality, all in the name of resurrecting his daughter, led him down a path of cruelty and madness. Despite his intelligence and power, he chose to manipulate and harm others instead of using his abilities for the good of humanity. In the end, he faced a fitting demise, a painful and lonely death brought about by his own actions. The reign that followed symbolized the cleansing of his corruption and a new beginning for those he oppressed. If he had chosen the path of compassion and cooperation, he could have been a force for good, but his greed sealed his tragic fate.